If I may talk here in my British accent, if this is a very good British accent, if you're going to say that way. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another live review on the channel of the Club of the Man 1993. I am the UK Club of the Man 1993, if you want to put it that way. And I am here to talk about my live review from NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2019, the first ever NXT UK TakeOver pay-per-view in history. And of course, we've heard that word history how many times anymore? But of course, today was history. Where you're watching it from the UK, where you're watching it from the United States, wherever you are watching it from. Okay, that's enough. But yes, guys, this is the Club Man 93. I'm coming at you for my live review of NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2019 that took place at the Empress Ballroom in Blackpool, London, of course. Or Blackpool, England, or what you want to call it. We're going to look back at everything that happened on the show. So, I'm sorry, apologize. Also, it's kind of a little late. I know. Well, for UK TakeOver UK happened. A while ago, but I was I was out all day doing stuff. I saved it for my evening activity tonight because I wanted to watch it while I ate some. If I can bring back some old times with our former buddy Enzo Amore, I had some crispy, tangy, honey barbecue and palm garlic flavor. You gotta excuse me if I sound a little hoarse. I've been coughing. I was coughing most of the night last night, and I have a little bit of a cough going right now, but I'm okay. I'm not sick other than that, but yeah, and also I was watching the show and I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, though, I fell asleep right before the main event because I was super tired. But I did watch it again when I woke back up, and that main event was awesome for sure. But so I mentioned in my preview and predictions for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2019 that I felt that this show really needed to probably stand out, like to be a really good show, which I had the faith that they could do it. Really needed to stand out because again, right now NXT UK, is good, but it's at a time where there's just so much going on right now in the wrestling business. So many promotions, so many shows, so many brands to watch that it's definitely kind of getting overlooked. And this brand, I do feel, does deserve the attention that it deserves because it plays a lot of great talent, a lot of great storytelling, a lot of different styles of wrestling. We had two, in my opinion, already two match of the year contenders, in my opinion, for the most part. And that was the tag title match and the main event. I feel those are already match of the year candidates. And overall, even the other matches, for the most part, I thought were good. I thought this show, it wasn't a classic. I wouldn't say this was like take over New Orleans or take over Brooklyn 4 or whatnot from last year. It wasn't like on that level, but I would say this was still, in my opinion, a very good start for the UK brand. I thought this was a great pay-per-view, and I had fun watching it. We had a little surprise in there at the second match that I'll talk about that when we get there. And even, we had a surprise debut at the end, so I'm not too familiar with, but he's a big deal because a lot of people on the internet see the market out for him. So, of course, we'll talk about that as well when we get there as well with that main event. So, overall, not a bad start at all, I gotta say. I enjoyed it, and we'll see what the next UK TakeOver has to offer. The other thing, too, that I was hoping that the show would happen with the show, and I was happy it didn't happen. I was worried this show was going to more so to feel like just like, kind of like how it feel like there's another UK championship tournament thing. Like how it did Royal Rumble, it was fun, but I felt like, okay, this needs to be like an actual like pay-per-view, not like just, just like, like a network special, if you know what I mean. And I think, it did definitely feel like a legitimate pay-per-view. Told some stories for the most part in there. Again, I was impressed. I thought, the talent did a great job on this show. And we'll get right into it. As we opened up with Mustache Mountains, Trent Seven, and Tyler Bate taking on the team that's apparently being called the Grizzled Young Veterans, which is a team of Zack Gibson, Liverpool's #1, and James Drake. Of course, the mystery continues with a lot of us here on the internet wondering, and I've still even wondering too, even though, like, I knew from the start this guy was hated, but again, I didn't watch, much British. I didn't know who the heck Zack Gibson was until this past summer's UK tournament. But, of course, you get the chance of, if you hate Gibson, step up, or if you hate Gibson, shoes off and whatnot. Maybe applying your smelly socks and your steak and whatnot. But now, here's to go into this match. I really thought this was going to be Mustache Mountain's match to win. Because, Zack Gibson, James Drake, okay, I thought they were more of like a wild card heel tag team, but I still kind of felt like they were just a team that, was just giving Zack Gibson something to do, since he obviously is not in the main event scene right now with, other names kind of passing him up. So there's like, Jordan Devlin, Noam Dar, Joe Coffey and Gallus, and now a certain someone debuting tonight also. But I really thought this was for a consolation prize at first, Zack Gibson, but they still put on a great match. All four of these teams, again, with Mustache Mountain in there, just having this brilliant chemistry together with Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate's like, big strong boy, as they were chanting a few times, did a freaking the airplane spin with both Gibson and Zack, but both Drake and Gibson on his shoulders. And Gibson's a big dude. Like, it's not just he picked up like two smaller guys. He picked up a decent sized dude in James Drake, but a big dude in Zack Gibson. And it was just unreal, that spot there. Trent Seven, my goodness, I talked about it last night in, should have been just the whole Year in Review Awards, but part one of the Year in Review Awards video on Dan Guys' channel about the match this past summer with Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain for the NXT tag titles, where they threw in the towel. How I point out how, Trent Seven, seems to be a little bit more fragile with the injuries and whatnot. He gets fucking elbow by, I think, James Drake was. He kind of got like cut open a little bit on the back of the head. So you saw some blood in his hair and whatnot. Once again, just fighting through like a dominating badass and just telling great stories. They're taking some of the craziest bumps ever, including my favorite spot of the match. With the I think it was Tyler Bate was sitting on Gibson's shoulder. James Drake did a suicide dive like through the ropes outside to knock Bate off of Gibson, knock him down. And then Gibson, again, still understand why he's extremely hated so much. Again, maybe because he's from Liverpool, and maybe Liverpool's like a big rival, like other states in London. I'm not sure. But I just thought, he, just puts on a great performance as a heel. He looks like a dominating heel for sure, tough. And, a lot of people say he has like an old school, wrestling style, which really works for him and whatnot. He's great on the microphone, of course, as well. But there's a lot of great back and forth action. I like, the little double finisher that, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven hit on, I think it was James Drake with the, I think it was a lariat into a dragon snap suplex, whatever the heck it's called. There's a couple of different near falls there. Of course, the Ticket to Ride there. Once or twice they had, Mustache Mountain, both locked up in finishers. We've seen that dramatic high times where it's like, no, we're not going to give up with this and whatnot. It's just, you see the chemistry with Mustache Mountain together. And again, even though I thought first, Gibson, Drake was that heel wild card team to put over Mustache Mountain instead of having Gallus and Mustache Mountain be in the finals, it still was a shocker. And, a shocker to see the fact that the grizzled young veterans, they won the tag titles. They won the tag titles by hitting the what's the finisher called here? With a Ticket to Mayhem finisher, I believe it was. It's like something similar to a code breaker, I believe it is. But they win with that, and they're the first ever NXT UK Tag Champions. So, I mean, the story is here. Is James Drake's more so like a protege to Zack Gibson. Obviously, Gibson, is like the more experienced veteran with whatnot. Like James Drake, I'm still trying to get behind, but I'd see the chemistry starting to click between them two as well. So we'll see where that goes. I mean, giving the titles just to Mustache Mountain would have been a little too obvious. I mean, would have been nice. Of course, they deserved them for sure. I mean, they had just a very brief run of the NXT tag titles, but Above the NXT UK tag titles for sure are definitely for them at some point. I mean, they deserve them. They don't have to have them right now to prove how good they are, but they definitely deserve them at some point. And I was still kind of hoping, Gallus to get around with them, but again, I'm not sure what's going to be going on with them now based on what happened here on this show in the main event. But we'll see what happens, of course, that. But yeah, Zack Gibson and James Drake are the first ever NXT UK tag champions in a really great opening match. Again, already at least a tag match or a match of the year candidate, in my honest opinion. So very great opener by these two teams, and we'll see where the tag division goes from there. Now, the next match was supposed to be Travis Banks and Jordan Devlin, but earlier on the pre-show, apparently we had Jordan Devlin attacking Travis Banks, targeting his knee. And then before the match starts, Travis Banks came out thanking Jordan Devlin, but then Banks hit like a suicide dive on Devlin. Devlin was making his entrance, and they start to brawl. But of course, the knee was obviously was bothering Travis Banks, and Jordan Devlin took full advantage by just attacking the knee and just smashing it into the steel steps like several times over and over again to do more damage to it, to a point where obviously Travis Banks, which the poor guy just cannot catch a break, was not able to participate in this match. So that kind of puts over Devlin right there. So Devlin gets on the microphone, cuts a promo, hyping himself out pretty much how he says, he represents his country well, unlike Travis Banks, and Travis Banks just learned you don't want to bet against the ace and whatnot. But out came Sid Scala and Johnny Saint. And they were discussing something, and Sid Scala announced that, based on what happened on the pre-show, they kind of knew that Devlin would be up to no good. So they had a backup plan, and they leave. Now, before I reveal who it was, of course, this past weekend, it was also revealed of the NXT UK Performance Center. And there were a couple WWE superstars from the main roster, of course, who were there. And one of them is a dream opponent of mine for Jordan Devlin. And my dream came true pretty much in this dream match that happened next. Instead of having Travis Banks and Jordan Devlin, which I'm sure would have been a good match, but again, I just feel bad that Travis Banks keeps being the one who's victim of getting knocked out of matches and what. I just want to see him get into a match, because he has definitely a lot of potential, especially since he was runner-up in the UK Championship tournament this past summer. The lights go out and the music played. I popped from my bed. The whole crowd in Blackpool popped in general. Again, already one of the best pops of the year for sure. It was Finn Balor. Finn Balor came out to have a match with Jordan Devlin on an NXT UK TakeOver event. A match that I've wanted to see since I first saw Devlin in the first United Kingdom Championship tournament back in 2016. I've wanted to see this match. And it's pretty much student versus teacher, because, Devlin did train with Finn Balor. And, of course, now it's turned into, who really is the better Irishman that represents their country? Who is the best one of all? It was a great back-and-forth match. I thought, Balor made Devlin look really good in this match, as well as I do think, Jordan Devlin has a lot of potential. As I keep saying, with them on 205 Live, they want to bring in other people from around the globe to get opportunities on 205 Live. I think Jordan Devlin would definitely be a great fit for one of them. I really think Jordan Devlin should pick up a match, pick up some opportunities on 205 Live for sure. I mean, Balor does win the match, which was cool with me, but he still made Devlin look good. But man, and I realized that, that was a dream match of mine. But now that I saw what happened on NXT UK, I'm like, you know what? I have my dream matches, but I want them to happen on the proper brand. If this match happened up on the main roster, like on 205 Live, it could have maybe, been good, but on Raw or SmackDown, well, Raw especially at this point, this probably would not have been, this wasn't like a classic. It was still it's still a great match, but, I'm pretty sure we would have not got the satisfying level that I wanted this for a dream match to be for sure with what happened. But Finn Balor defeated Jordan Devlin. It wasn't just a nice little treat. It was a nice, big, surprise for us to have this dream match between these two Irishmen. Again, basically student versus teacher pretty much. And yeah, Finn Balor defeats Jordan Devlin in a fun match I definitely enjoyed for sure. So that was that match. Again, a dream match of mine that I'm happy we got on this brand and on this show, of course, as well. The show, Gallus backstage, taping up Joe Coffey. We also saw, Pete Dunn, getting ready as well for their main event match later on. They show Luke Menzies in the front row. He's been in a couple, matches as like an extra on NXT, so I guess he's going to get some type of push on NXT UK. So maybe we'll see what he can offer. He's like has potential for a bigger man. Here's a match I was a little bit disappointed with the outcome. I mean, the match was all right. Probably the weakest match on the show, in my opinion. But I was a little disappointed with this outcome, and I don't know where they're going now with these two here. But Dave Mastiff and Eddie Dennis in a no disqualification match. Now, again, ever since NXT UK first started, and they had the hype videos for Eddie Dennis, I mean, yes, he's still kind of new and whatnot, but I really saw the story again with Eddie Dennis being, the headmaster at one point, but then, kind of getting jealous over his former friends of Mark Andrews and Pete Dunn, and pretty much wants to come in there, pretty much, take their opportunity, take his opportunity to prove he belongs there, and shows that he could have been there a long time ago, and whatnot. And I thought, again, he was going to be the one to be built up to eventually dethrone Pete Dunn. And having this and jumping on after a game wins over other talents, like Ashton Smith. I think I went over Ligero and a couple other people as well. And then he starts to speak with Dave Mastiff. Yes, he lost his first match with Mastiff, which I was fine with because Eddie Dennis should be solely based on an undefeated streak either. I feel. But then when Dave Mastiff beat Eddie Dennis and he saved his attention to go after. Eventually wrestle for the UK Championship, and Eddie Dennis wanted to get his revenge on him for his undefeated. So I thought, oh, maybe this could be the feud that puts over Eddie Dennis to get to Pete Dunne. Because let's be real, there's been some people like Joe Coffey or Jordan Devlin, a couple people who had to go through Ligero to eventually state their claim that they deserve a United Kingdom Championship shot. And again, I like Ligero. I don't hate him, but I don't think he's like like a last stop person before before getting to your main event championship. Just my opinion, of course. So I thought this is going to be where they probably put over Eddie Dennis. Dave Mastiff will be fine, of course, with a loss here. So we'll see where it goes. I thought the match was decent. Again, I thought it was probably the weaker match on the card, in my opinion. The ending was kind of cool seeing, Dave Mastiff hit his cannonball on Dennis through the table and whatnot. A couple of nice counters in there, but Dave Mastiff wins the match, which, again, I'm okay with. Once again, it's like, now where does Eddie Dennis go? Like, he's here to prove that, try to, get back, catch up to Pete Dunne at Mark Andrews level and try to surpass them. Now that he's lost this feud to Mastiff, it's like, okay, now where does he go? Like, I don't know, maybe Triple H doesn't think he's ready yet or something like that, which, again, you don't want to, just because, he has an outside history there, but you still have to, develop the talent and whatnot. But I guess I was a little disappointed that they didn't put him over because, now, of course, Mastiff wins. I'm assuming he wanted to try to get the UK title shot now. But, again, with someone else who has recently, who debuted in the main event, we'll get to later on, I'm not sure where this is going now. So, other way to see. So, a decent no DQ match, but to me, I felt like it was like the weakest point of this. The part I was disappointed with the most in this show is this no DQ match. But Dave Mastiff wins, so we will see where we go from there. Of course, we then see a trailer for Paige's video fighting with my family, which I may check that video out because it is interesting. And of course, we'll be hearing Paige here. Well, not really there, but from the commercial we got last year, Paige here, if you know what I mean. Then we see Jazzy Gabbard and Kaylee Ray shown in the front row. They were in the Mae Young Classic. Obviously, they're seem to be teasing, coming to NXT UK, which, okay, cool. I remember having a couple of good showings in the Mae Young Classic this past year. Then we had the NXT UK Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley taking on Toni Storm, where Toni Storm got a great pop, with her recent, drama with, the with her those nudes of her leaked on the internet, and people who leaked them, just like sending just like some awful messages to her through DMs and whatnot, to a point where she deleted all of her social media accounts. But then everyone came together on like Twitter, whatnot, get the hashtag we support Toni Storm, hashtags going and whatnot. She's saying Rhea Ripley. Now, here's the thing again. I predicted Rhea Ripley to retain going into this match, because I felt, okay, Toni Storm won the Mae Young Classic. She's proven she's a top star in film, and I love Toni Storm, and she deserves to get this run with the women's title that of course she won the match, of course. But I was kind of hoping they would have given Rhea Ripley like a little bit more longer with that title run, because I felt she has something to prove, where Toni Storm, has already proved that she belongs to the top. I mean, Rhea Ripley honestly is a great talent, but I would like to see her get a longer title reign. The match they had wasn't too bad. I definitely expected a little bit more from them. I thought it was more like a solid match. A lot of people thought this one was the weakest match on the card, which I still give it to Mastiff and Dennis. I thought was the weakest match on the card, but it was solid. I for no regret, I give this one a B-, I'd say. But I definitely think it could have been a little bit better. But I do appreciate that they tried to make this a good match for what it was, better than their match they had for the finals for the women's championship back in November. They did have a couple of nice little counters in there. A couple of times where that they got a little ugly with some brawling and whatnot, especially with all the punches at the center of the ring. They keep kicked out of each other's finishers once, which was not too bad to see there also as well. Again, it wasn't bad, but I never expected for Toni Storm at least could have been a little bit better of a match. But again, the bar to me has been set way too high for Toni Storm, especially after that match against Meiko Satomura in the Mae Young Classic for sure. But Toni wins, and again, I know I wanted a little bit of a longer title run out of Rhea Ripley, but Toni deserves it. I mean, I have no problem at all with Toni Storm being the UK Women's Champion. Of course, the question is now, who's going to be the one to dethrone her? Will they give it back to Rhea Ripley at some point? Will maybe Jinny be the one to dethrone her? Could it be Jazzy Gabber or Kaylee Ray, who will be dethroning her? We'll have to wait and see what happens. Of course, as we have a lot of talent, stacked up again with the NXT UK division for sure. So yeah. Solid match, I thought. Again, the second weakest match on the card. If I'm rating from weakest to best, again, the Mastiff and Dennis match for me was the weakest. That's probably the second weakest, but still not a bad match at all. I gotta give the credit the one did well. What's going on, Mark? He would love to see Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. Ooh, if that was for a UK title or whatnot, that'd be pretty darn awesome. Maybe we'll see, but yeah, that would be pretty good. We also had a hype reel, which I might want to check this out also. Chasing the Magic, the Nigel McGuinness story, which I wouldn't mind checking that out. So maybe I'll check that out someday. We also see that Charlotte is showing the front row because she was there also for the opening of the NXT UK Performance Center as well. So it was nice to point her out as well. Of course, she gets the spotlight, and once again, it makes you believe more Becky Lynch was saying over the past fall that Charlotte always gets the spotlight no matter what she does and whatnot. Not like I said before, she could lose the championship, go get a boob fix, then come back and get back into the title picture like nothing ever happened. But but still, it was nice to see Charlotte be there to represent WWE to see this pay-per-view. And then finally, we got our main event. It was Pete Dunne taking on the leader of Gallus. So I love that song. Joe Coffey. They gave these guys probably a good half hour, 35 minutes. Maybe a smidge too long. But man, was this a flat out war. It was brutal. It was physical. The near falls were absolutely nuts in this match, especially the fact that I believe Joe Coffey kicked out of not one, but two bitter ends. Joe Coffey kicked out of two bitter ends, people. I feel we've seen maybe someone kick out of one bitter end before. I don't think I've ever seen, not even Tyler Bate. I don't think we've seen anyone ever kick out of two bitter ends before. This match was physical. It started off, a little slow at first, but then it slowly picked up. There's some spots I remember where, Pete Dunne, did like an enziguri that knocked Joe Coffey into the steel steps, the spot where Joe Coffey picked up Pete Dunne, slammed him onto the ramp. I thought that was a physical spot as well. To the couple times where, again, I thought Joe Coffey had Pete Dunne, but Pete Dunne would kick out. The part I thought he had Pete Dunne was time he had him like the Boston Crab, and he kind of kicked. I just like threw a couple of kicks to Pete Dunne's head there. I thought he knocked out Pete Dunne cold there. I thought Dunne was out, and he was not getting out of it. Like, since, Gallus was getting the tag titles tonight, I thought that maybe they would, surprise us and put the title on Joe Coffey, even though I still predicted Pete Dunne to win this match. I didn't see him dropping a title, but I thought, so about my mind, like, maybe they could pull the trigger on Joe Coffey, who knows, but man, did they make Joe Coffey look like he was on another level tonight. I thought this match was brutal. Again, it was physical. Just an all-out fight, of course, against, the two guys, who want, this brand to be theirs pretty much. Of course, the finish happened after Joe Coffey kicked out of the second bitter end when Pete Dunne just rolled him into, a submission when he basically just tried to break the fingers like he always does in his matches. And Pete Dunne gets Joe Coffey to tap out. And then I see Triple H trying to pull his old stick here, which, the best one was still either when he did this when Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano, or when the Undisputed Era and Adam Cole made their NXT debut at TakeOver Brooklyn 3 after the main event when Drew McIntyre won the title. But after the match, we see the little graphic in the corner showing, copyright for this pay-per-view, and then next up is the Nigel McGuinness story. But all of a sudden, they start playing a song. And out comes this big dude who I don't know much about him, but apparently, I see, the hype on Twitter that, this guy is pretty well known. Out comes this big dude named Walter. He comes out, makes his way to the ring, towers over Pete Dunne. Again, I keep forgetting that Pete Dunne is not that tall. I mean, he's still not small, but, he's still not as big as he looks. Like he's a big, strong, good dude, but he's only about 5'10", and that's 3 inches shorter than me. But out comes Walter, who's got to be at least 6'5" or whatnot. He comes out and he basically gets into the ring and stares down Pete Dunne. Joe Coffey tries to get in the ring, get involved, but then Walter just boots him off of the apron. Him and Dunn just face off and get within a foot of each other before he respectfully backs off and pretty much basically, hey, I'm here in this brand now, and he obviously has intention of coming after Pete Dunne's UK title. So, I said earlier, how I've been wanting Eddie Dennis to be the one to dethrone Pete Dunne eventually. After what happens today, I don't see him really, getting to anytime soon. But I think we might have found a possible candidate to be the one to dethrone Pete Dunne. I mean, I don't know too much about Walter. I mean, some other people like more who watch more wrestling more globally than I do, might. Who knows what we'll see? I mean, this guy was a pretty big dude. And this is probably, Joe Coffey, I thought, in mind, it was like a bigger challenge, for Pete Dunne, like a bigger dude. Because most of the guys Pete Dunne's faced, yes, he's faced some great wrestlers, and, Zack Gibson, Noam Dar, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Wolfgang. He's faced, a lot of great talents to defend his UK championship, which is now at 602 or 603 days, I believe, 1 to 2. But I don't know. I'm not sure if he can get past Walter. We'll have to wait and see, though. But nice ending to the show. Again, a great main event for sure. Definitely that, and the tag title matches are definitely match of the year candidates for me, in my opinion. Again, the women's title match was solid, could have been better. Again, the match with Devlin and Balor, again, was a dream match of mine. I'm glad that happened on the UK brand. And then the match with Mastiff and Dennis was still good, but, again, I guess I was disappointed with more of the outcome. Still, again, my least favorite part of the show. But overall, guys, I got to say NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool was a success. I hope it definitely opened some eyes and wanted to get more people to check this brand out. As I know it's kind of like, on the back burner since there's like so much other stuff to watch anymore, Raw, SmackDown, NXT and 205 Live, or even like, anyone who watches, Lucha Underground or New Japan or Ring of Honor, or now we got AEW coming and whatnot. We have so many other, or Impact Wrestling. There's so many brands around the world that are definitely, gaining attention as well. So I understand why this is tough to get attention. It's kind of like, one of the newest brands that people are going to be like, oh, what's this and whatnot. But there's a lot of talent in this brand for sure, guys. And we saw it displayed definitely today in Blackpool. But yeah, I give NXT TakeOver Blackpool a B+. Strong B+. Guys, what grade would you give NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And make sure, as always, to click my like and subscribe. Work hard to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at Demand93. If there's any videos that come out tomorrow, expected to be, probably just video game Let's Plays, I'd say, for Backyard Baseball and Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm not sure if I'll get any baseball videos tomorrow, but the usual reviews of Raw and SmackDown, and the shtick this week. I'm going to try also this week to do my recap and review from last year's men's and women's Royal Rumble matches, just to add them onto my series I did last year. I'll try to do that this week, and special live stream week this week will probably be my top 10 surprise entrance / returns for Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumbles. I'll probably do that this week, I gotta say. So yeah, guys, Mark, thank you for joining me in the live chat. Also, as always, and anybody else wants to check us out afterwards, again, please down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on NXT UK? What grade would you give it? What was your match of the night? And yeah, guys, that I'm checking out. I will see you guys all later. So have a great rest of your night. Take care, everybody. Have a good night's sleep, and peace out, everybody.